The Alien movie contains mysteries that we explore in the videos. What the mysteries are and why they are in the movie is due to the background and production of the Alien movie. The movie's script changed several times before the movie was produced and during production. In addition, scenes were added and changed to the movie during production. Not all of these changes are noted in the scripts. The final scene of Alien, in which Ripley comes face to face with the fully grown alien aboard the Narcissus shuttle, is familiar to everyone who has seen the film. What many may not know is that the scene went through several interesting changes during production. The ending evolved over time, and multiple variations and concepts were explored before the final version was created. In this video, we'll go through those changes and the different concepts behind the film's ending. Before looking at the actual final confrontation, here's the background of how the fully grown alien was originally supposed to enter the Narcissus shuttle in the first place. This was already covered in the Narcissus video, but we'll go through it again here. When the story for the film was being developed, the crew was meant to attempt trapping the alien 3 different times. The first attempt is the one seen in the final film. The crew tries to drive the alien into the airlock using the ventilation shafts. The second is the well-known deleted airlock scene, where Parker leads another attempt to force the alien inside an airlock. The third attempt, far less known, was a sequence in which the crew tries to lure the alien into the Narcissus shuttle. The idea was that Parker, Lambert, and Ripley would try to draw the alien inside using music, and then jettison the shuttle from the Nostromo. In the scene, the plan fails, and the alien does not take the bait. Although this sequence was removed from later drafts of the script, it provided an explanation for why the alien ultimately showed interest in entering the Narcissus shuttle at the end of the film. Next, the final scene itself. The ending was revised multiple times during production. It was filmed on different days in early October 1978, and then reshot again from mid-October through the end of the month. Additional reshoots took place in early November and early December, though during these later sessions, Sigourney Weaver's body double, Liz Mitchell, was used. The final version seen in the film was, in part, never actually scripted. It resulted from Ridley Scott's on-set improvisation during production. According to production documentation, however, the original scripted version was filmed. This version differs from what appears in the final cut in several ways. As in the released film, the script has Ripley running into the locker when she notices the alien embedded in the wall. In the screenplay, the alien does not reach its arm toward Ripley. Instead, the creature is focused on constructing a new lair inside the Narcissus shuttle. Ripley puts on a spacesuit and exits the locker. She grabs the flamethrower and straps herself into the console chair. Ripley fires the flamethrower at the alien twice. Provoked, the alien attacks Ripley, and just as in the film, she blows the rear hatch and the alien is sucked out of the Narcissus. The creature drifts in front of the engines, and Ripley ignites them. In the originally filmed version, there was no spear gun at all. This version of the scene, filmed according to the screenplay, had evolved from an earlier draft in which the alien was curious about and interested in Ripley. In that version, the alien peers through the glass at Ripley hiding inside the locker. Its attention is then drawn to Jones the cat, meowing from inside the carry case. Annoyed, the alien begins violently shaking the case, while Ripley, still inside the locker, tries to regain its attention through the glass. Eventually, Ripley, now in a spacesuit, emerges holding a steel spear and impales the alien. Before the creature's acidic blood can drip onto the floor of the Narcissus shuttle, Ripley blows the rear hatch and the alien is ejected into space. This version, in turn, evolved from an earlier draft of the script. In that version, after the destroyed Nostromo drifts away, Ripley looks out from the Narcissus shuttle. Suddenly, Jones begins to howl and the alien emerges from the shadows behind her. Ripley freezes as the creature appears. It pulls out a large chunk of flesh and begins to eat it. Ripley intends to grab the flamethrower, but the alien is standing right next to it. She then rushes into a locker for cover. As in the later version, the alien becomes interested in Ripley, but Jones's howling irritates it, drawing the creature's attention away. Ripley slips out of the locker holding a spear, strikes the alien with it, and blows the rear hatch. The alien is ejected out of the Narcissus, but as it is sucked out, it grabs hold of Ripley's ankle. She manages to close the hatch, sealing the creature outside. The hatch clamps down on the end of the alien's appendage, trapping it in the door frame. These versions partially follow the sequence as originally conceived in Dan O'Bannon's early script. The final sequence of Alien was also planned to continue outside the Narcissus shuttle, following Ripley's confrontation with the creature. Ridley Scott drew storyboards for this version. In this concept, Ripley is pulled out of the shuttle along with the alien after she fires the spear gun at it. She ends up hanging outside the Narcissus on a safety cable. The alien begins climbing up the cable toward her, and Ripley fires a shot into the creature's head. Although the shot wounds it, the injury has little effect. Ripley manages to climb back into the shuttle and seal the hatch just moments before the alien can follow her inside. The ending would then proceed essentially the same way as in the finished film. However, realizing this version of the scene would have required extensive special effects, additional shooting time, and therefore a larger budget, resources Ridley Scott did not have. For these reasons, this iteration of the sequence was ultimately abandoned. Ripley's weapon for fighting the alien changed across different script versions and during the actual filming. The spear originally intended for the scene was replaced first with a flamethrower, then with the spear gun. In an extended version of the sequence, where Ripley and the alien struggle outside the Narcissus, she uses a laser pistol. In some promotion photos, she is seen holding a small axe. On October 14, 1978, both a flamethrower and a spear gun were prepared for filming, indicating that the scene had been revised in terms of weapon choice. Additional shooting continued throughout the following week until Shepperton Studios' rental period expired. The remaining shots for the sequence were later filmed at Bray Studios. Originally, the final scene was supposed to feature Ripley completely nude, but the studio feared that this level of nudity would affect the film's rating. As a result, Ripley appears in the scene wearing only a t-shirt and underwear instead. Ridley Scott also planned the final scene to go in a very different direction from what appears in the finished film. In these concepts, Scott pushed the creature's biomechanical abilities much further, closer to H.R. Giger's original vision. The idea was that the alien could merge with machine-like elements. In the planned sequence, the creature would begin fusing with the Narcissus shuttle itself. Scott even filmed test footage in which the alien's fingers were shown blending into the ship's wiring and equipment. This concept also inspired a version in which the alien would kill Ripley and take control of the Narcissus. In one iteration, the creature would fully merge with the shuttle, effectively operating it from within. Another version emerged after a day of filming, when Scott presented a new idea to producer Gordon Carroll. In this version, Ripley shoots the alien with a spear gun, but it has no effect. The creature tears the harpoon out of its chest and then rips Ripley's head off. Afterward, the alien would pilot the Narcissus and send a distress signal mimicking Ripley's voice, luring more victims to their doom. The studio strongly disliked these ideas and threatened to fire Scott on the spot. Scott later admitted the concept didn't work, although he still wanted Ripley to die in the final scene. In yet another version, Ripley fails to notice the alien hiding on board, and as she records her final log entry, the creature suddenly kills her with a strike from its inner jaw. In the end, the studio insisted that Ripley must survive and defeat the alien, allowing room for a potential sequel. For the film's sequel, several alternate plot twists were also considered for the ending. Some of these ideas were partially drawn from Dan O'Bannon's original script, in which an alien egg would have been attached to the underside of the escape shuttle. In one version, an alien egg is shown inside the Narcissus shuttle in the background as Ripley begins her hypersleep. This version was filmed and even shown to a test audience. H.R. Giger was very fond of this version, but ultimately, Ridley Scott decided to cut it. Additionally, a version was envisioned in which facehuggers had latched onto the shuttle's engines. In this ending, as Ripley sleeps in the hypersleep chamber and the camera pulls back to show the Narcissus flying through space, Facehuggers would have been visible around the engines before the credits rolled. Miniature alien models were prepared for this scene, but it was never filmed. In another concept, a single alien would have been inside the Narcissus in a stasis tube, for which Scott also created storyboards. Overall, it is fortunate that these sequel setup ideas were abandoned, as their backstory would have raised many questions and discussions. Similar to the opening of Alien 3, where an alien egg mysteriously appears on the Sulaco at the start of the film. It's interesting to imagine how the Alien franchise might have unfolded if, at the end of Alien, the creature had killed Ripley, fused with the Narcissus shuttle, and lured humans to it. Write in the comments whether you like the ending as it appears in the film, or if you think it should have followed one of the other planned versions. Also remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Subscribing is free, and this way you'll always get notified whenever new content related to the Alien franchise is uploaded to the channel.